This is our video that we're going to start to make either houses or cakes. The first thing I'm going to tell you is I'm going to start working on a sheet of paper because I don't want my slabs to stick to the table, and I don't want my coils to stick to the table. So always work on a sheet of paper. So I'm going to take a piece of clay, and first of all, this is how much clay you get. It's a little bit under 2 pounds. So your house cannot be giant, neither can your cake. But it's about 5-6 inches size that you need for either or, so it's not that big. So first of all, to make a slab, and mine are tiny, yours will be a little bit bigger, I'm going to take a piece of clay and I'm just going to smush it down. And I'm going to smush it to a pretty decent thickness. Not too thin, not too thick, so I can get a pretty even piece. I'm going to lay it down and I'm just going to roll a pencil over it. And this pencil is the kind that doesn't have any ridges. I'm going to lift it and I'm going to rotate it. The lifting and rotating is super important because if you don't do that, it's going to get stuck to the paper, and when you try to use it, it won't work anymore. So make sure you rotate it. I'm going to keep making this one real quick. So give me a second. So here's my slab. I finished it. So I'm going to lift it off the paper before I start working so that it won't get stuck. If I try to cut this while it's still on the paper after I finish rolling it, it'll get stuck. So lift it up once, rotate it so that you guys can cut. So here's my shape of my house that I want. I just drew it on graph paper because I like drawing on graph paper because of the even lines. I also drew some separate shapes so you can start thinking of what your house can look like. And then I decided how thick my house was going to be, so I marked it off here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these pieces out. So here they are. I went ahead and cut them out. So I'm going to put them on my slab, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it out again of the actual clay. All I'm going to do is place my piece right here, and I just have to rotate it, get it to the size that I need. This one's a little bit smaller than what I need, but I'm going to pretend it's not just for purpose of the video. So anyway, you put your piece of paper down, save it for your other side, so don't get rid of it. I have a gift card that I'm going to cut with. This is for my scoring, and this is for cutting. Gift cards are like the best because they're flexible. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this. And you need to cut exterior clay and get rid of that. You never try to cut around it and then lift it up from the middle because then you ruin it. So it's really important that you cut the extra clay and try to cut in separate sections so that you have more control of your piece instead of trying to go all the way around it in one go. So I went ahead and cut my shape. Don't let this sit here forever because then this is going to get ruined and you need it for the other side. I left these pieces here and it was really important. I should have said at the beginning of the video, don't let your extra clay just sit there. You need to grab a bag and put it in a bag. And little pieces in a bag, if there are a bunch of little pieces, they dry out pretty fast. But if you compress them, it helps keep the moisture in. So anything you cut off, put it in a bag and don't leave the bag open like this. Close the bag right away so it won't dry. So any piece you cut off, keep it in a bag right away because that way you can use this clay again. You're not going to get any more clay. All you get is that little 2-pound bag of clay. That's all you get. So please make sure you keep it covered in a bag as you work. So I have one piece here. I'm actually just going to leave it on this paper and I'm going to let it sit out. I can't use this today. I have to use it tomorrow because it needs to get leather hard. Remember, this right here is flimsy clay. If I try to make it stand up, it won't work. You literally have to wait a whole day before you try to build with these. So I'm going to leave it on my paper. I'm going to close it in my paper. I'm going to grab another bag. And I'm going to put it inside the bag. And I'm just going to let it sit overnight. Leave a little air in your bag where it's a little bit puffy, but still tuck it back in so it doesn't dry completely. Just a little air pocket like that. We want this to start drying for our project, but not all the way because we want it to be leather hard, okay? So I already made a piece that I'm going to work with, that it's been sitting out for one whole day, so it's a little bit leather hard, so I'm going to show you the difference. So here's a piece I've been drawing for one day. The other one was really floppy. This one's really solid, and it can actually stand and keep its shape. This is what leather hard is called. So I'm going to lay that down. Here's another piece of slab that I rolled, and I grabbed a little piece of clay that was kind of long, and I just kept rolling it, and I kept rotating it. Here's my little stencil that I made. I'm going to go ahead and cut this on both sides, and I'm going to go kind of quick. So I'm sorry if it's crooked, just so the video won't be as long. But anyway, this is my extra clay. I am going to compress my clay. I'm going to go to the bag where I have my clay saved, compress it with this one, and close my bag up right away. So I have this. This one is supposed to be drying for almost like maybe a class period. So if you're going to need side slabs, make them at the beginning of class. Because this one, we still want it to be able to rotate because we have this beautiful shape on our house. And if we let this get leather hard where we can't move it around, it won't be able to take this contour. So we're going to go around it like that. And that way I can have my cool shape to my house when it's finished. I'm going to just go right there. I'm literally going to just take my little gift card and cut it right here. Okay, so now to attach. Most of you know this, but just to make sure. I'm going to grab my piece. I am going to score it. I'm going to score the house right there. I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to add a little bit of water, and I'm going to score again. And I'm going to score quite a bit so it gets kind of mushy, and I'm creating my slip inside right there. Instead of getting slip, all the scratching and the 2 layers of water are going to create my slip. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and stand it up and just press it together. So as you can see, I pressed them together from the bottom. The top, just try to shape it the best that you can. I have some skinny little coils that I'll show you how to build in a second. I'm going to lay them on the inside. Sorry. I am going to score my coil. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. I'm going to score again. And the scored part, I'm going to make it go right there in that little edge. Just cut off the extra. I don't have clay tools, but I do have my back of my paintbrush. And I'm going to go ahead and press the clay down. Then I'm going to put my hand on the outside, and I'm going to press the clay up. So I'm taking that little coil, and I'm spreading it towards top and bottom. Then I'm going to take the back of my nail, and I'm just going to go like that. Notice that I'm supporting from the back side my building every time. So that's how I'm going to add all my walls to my building. As you build, I'm going to add this wall, this one. I'm not going to put a bottom because it doesn't matter. So I don't want to waste my clay. Then I'm going to make my rooftop in a similar way. I'll get my triangle shape and then I'll put it on top. So that's how you put pieces together of clay. Remember to let them dry 1 day so they're nice and leather hard. Just a couple other building techniques that I just wanted to show you is some people have like a roundhouse. So this is a pinch pot right here that I made. I grabbed the ball of clay, I put my finger in the clay, and I just compressed it and rotated at the same time. Before it gets too crazy here, I'm just going to roll it on the table so I can keep a nice shape. And then I am going to go and keep compressing it and keep rolling it on the table so that I can have a nice shape. This part needs to stay thick. You cannot go thin like this. It needs to stay a little thicker so that you can grab, sorry, I lost my, here it is. So you can grab your scoring tool, add water, score it again, and you would do that to both pieces, and then you guys can put it together. And then score down, score up, down and up, down and up. Then you use the back of your clay and you score down, and you smooth up, and you smooth down. I said the back of your clay, I meant the back of your card. Score down, score up, sideways, and then you smooth it down, smooth it up. Anyway, you keep on going. Then you have this ball of clay that you can literally roll around the table, and you can have a really nice ball. So you can use these half of the pinch pot for a rooftop. You can use the whole thing. A young lady wants a ball house, so she actually is going to make one, and then she's going to cut into it like this, and then cut into it like that, and take off the extra, and she's going to have like a big open circle, and that's how she made that perfect circle with 2 pinch pots. So think about that. So that's all I'm going to tell you about houses. You know how to attach to pieces. You know how to score them. You know they have to be leather hard for you to build on them. You know that you have to make templates. These, you have to save them so you can use them for the other side of the house. For example, like this. I have my other piece sitting. It's going to go right here on top. So just think about that. Cakes are really simple. So you basically get your circle bottom that you want. If you want a circle cake or a square cake, you just get the bottom. You get coils. And I made a bunch of coils. And what I'm going to do with a coil is, I'm just going to score the bottom of my cake. And I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'm going to score my coil, add a little bit of water, score it again. And the scored part touches the scored part. And I'm just going to wrap around. Sorry, mine's not big enough. But if it was, I'm just going to keep pretending for the video. Now, let's just say, score and slip each one, okay? Don't stop scoring and slipping. You score and slip each one. Mine almost got stuck to the table because I was using water. I should have had that piece of paper that I started the video with. So please use a piece of paper. When I have 2 coils down, I'm going to take the back of my paintbrush and I'm going to press these down. I'm going to go across. I'm going to press these down. So I'm pressing each one down into the other one. I never press without my hand being on the outside or else it's going to collapse. So I'm going to press down. Now, if you want to leave the coil showing for your cake, you can. If you don't want to, so attach 2 coils and then go ahead and do that to them. Attach 2 more and join them together. 2 more and smooth them together. Do not put a bunch of coils and then try to put them together because that won't work. So now I am going to grab my scoring tool. I'm going to put a little water on the outside. I'm going to grab my scoring tool and go down. Then I'm grabbing my scoring tool and go up, down, up. Then I'll grab the back of it and just smooth out my cake. So I'm going to make a couple of these, about 4 coils up. And my idea is to build a cake that looks like this. These slants right here